Hello and welcome to another episode of Chasing Hope with me, Catherine Abraham. Today's topic, my friends, the accidental text message, just brings to light how God plays in our life in infinite ways. And sometimes when we're just about to give up, the tipping point, as it's called, God comes there and rescues us from all of these deep despair. Now, texting has become a fair substitute to life and living in person. At a time when people are struggling to build a life, the first thing that people do is to text instead of talk. In many ways, it has become a worthy substitute for communication. And yet, texting by itself is actually meaningless if both people are not on the same page. In the same way, sometimes an accidental text message can change our lives forever. And that's exactly what happens in this story today. Our story comes from a small town in northern India, where a young man was sitting by the lake, worried and sorrowful. He had just lost his only child. As he looked at the child's face beaming through the pocket-sized photograph, he heard his phone beep. He had no courage to pick up that phone. A friend was desperately trying to contact him. Not today, he told himself. Not today. He just couldn't do it. Again the phone rang. This time, it was his wife. Again, he did not pick up the phone, for he was lost for words. What word of comfort would he give his wife when he himself was struggling for these answers? Why had God taken away that beautiful child of his? What had his child even done to deserve this at such a tender age? He kept the phone away as the tears softly trickled down his face. Staring at the lake in front of him, a million thoughts engulfed him. Would he be able to ever face his family again? His wife again? Would they share the same intimate relationship they once had in the past? Should he just give up? Should he die? While all these thoughts were passing through his mind, his phone beeped again. Again he ignored it. But then, a few minutes later, as he rose to return, this time he realized it was not one of his own contacts. It was someone else. The message read, God is in the silences. When we feel angst and despair, it is that time that He is with us. When our thoughts stray away from Him and we instead question divine wisdom, we realize that our ideas of a bright hope for tomorrow is all but shattered. Keep the faith. This too shall pass. The young man who was about to commit suicide instead sat down to reread the message and continued to reread it again and again, as though conditioning his mind to accept what he was reading. Now, he didn't know who this person was. He had never received a message from that number. But he also realized that it was that tiny ray of hope that he had been waiting for. He knelt down, and for the first time that day, he communicated with God. As a matter of fact, he did not believe up until then, up until the time that his child was detected with cancer, that God even existed, which is what made him resent the very idea of the divine even more. If God was real, then why was his child taken away from him? Why was the world so full of gloom and despair? If God was so benevolent, why was he suffering so much? And amidst all of this, he had found this small text message. He tried calling the unknown number, but there was no response. Again, a little while later, he tried. Again, there was no response. With a heavy heart, he slowly got up and trudged back home. Now was the moment he was dreading. At the door, he expected his wife to be waiting and weeping for the loss of their child. Instead, something miraculous happened. What he saw was something he never expected. He saw that his wife had cleaned up nicely and was now laying the table for an early dinner. Had she lost her mind? She was humming to herself the song of a very old Hindi number. मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया. How could she not be affected? Had she not lost a major part of her too? He walked up to her, a little worried, and with a voice full of concern asked, "Are you okay?" "No, but I am trying." Simple, straight, no frills. While he had found himself subsumed in the throes of agonizing pain, his wife, on the other hand, had worked her way out of it, choosing instead to work on her pain and angst by rechannelizing her energies to do that which would bring her some kind of distraction, if not for happiness. And yet, both were completely aware that the void the child left behind was one that no one could fill. And now, as his wife continued to work, this young man felt something was amiss, because his wife was a deeply sensitive and gentle human being, and the chances of her suddenly stealing up to become this epitome of strength and support for him seemed rather uncanny. A little while later, as they sat to watch television, he saw how quickly she wiped a tear from the corner of her eye and continued to watch the images in stoic silence. Both didn't understand what was happening, but they needed something to keep them alive. It is then that he realized that something within his wife had definitely changed. The next day, he thought maybe the phase had passed. She would be back to being woesome and she would be woebegone for the most part of the day. Tensed and full of uncertain thoughts, he walked up to her and saw her reading a message. And then he saw a very faint smile come on her face. Was that the reason for her sudden change? His doubt deepened over the next couple of days as he saw his wife change and transform manyfold. She went back to her first love, culinary arts, trying her new hand at new cookery items every day. Day after day, the routine became somewhat disturbing for him as he saw this himself spiral into a sorrowful chamber only to see his wife getting better and better. A month later, he could not stop himself from asking, "What's going on?" He pulled his wife by the hand. The perplexed woman shrank in his presence as she wondered what had happened. "What do you mean? Don't behave so innocent. We lost our little child a month ago, but you seem to have no thought about him. You rarely talk about him, and even when you do so with a smile." Now the wife understood what her husband was getting at. She slowly pushed him away and the strong arm that had gripped her now loosened out. As she said, if God has given, He can take away too. What do you mean? The day our son died, she said, I thought the entire world had come crashing down. And there came a point when you were not at home and I wanted to commit suicide. It was too much for me to take in. And when I was about to consume that poison, my phone beeped, and this is what I received. So saying, she picked up her phone and showed him the exact same text message that he had received that day. But who is this person? How does he know us? I don't know, my dear, she replied. The young man picked his phone and decided he would find out who this mysterious angel was. They called again and again and again from different numbers, and while the phone rang each time, sadly, no one received their call. Disappointed and dejected, the couple sat together when suddenly the phone itself rang. And as the young lady looked at her phone, she smiled. It was the same unknown caller. A feeble, unfamiliar voice spoke on the other end. Hello, can I know who this is? The gentleman replied softly, My name is Pastor Daniel. How can I help you? Pastor Daniel? But they knew no one of that name. The young man went on to thank the man for saving him and his wife's life and for restoring his faith, a faith that he had lost a long, long time ago. Before he could complete, the pastor replied, God works in such mysterious ways. Son, I had received 2 wrong numbers. What a powerful and yet intriguing way for God to have intercepted 2 lives that were ready to actually embrace death, and for Him to come in the way to work out the life of this young couple, to change them from within. What a beautiful, beautiful story. Many times we brush away incidents and label them as happy accidents, coincidences. And the truth is exactly what I told you the last time. There is no such thing as a coincidence. Because the more you test your faith, the more you see these coincidences happen. God has a divine plan already laid out for you. Whether you want it, whether you like it, whether you don't. It will play out at the time it is meant to be. When you meet a person from now on, meet them with the understanding that God has planted them in your life for a reason. Meet them with that definitive purpose, knowing that you are meant to change someone's life or prepare to be changed by someone else. Oftentimes, in our darkest moments, we meet those angels, people who touch our lives briefly, and all our problems seem to dissipate. We are all chasing hope. We are all in need of a ray of hope. And when we receive it, we must be gracious enough to accept it, acknowledge it, and appreciate it. Sometimes your answer may be in the form of an experience. Sometimes it may be a person who can show you the true light. The point is, what we saw happen with these young non-believers is that when times are troubled and dark, suddenly the same rationale, logic, and science seems to pale in comparison to faith. Suddenly, the life that was completely embedded in rationale and rationalistic principles now wants more. These were people who had not met God, But now they wanted to share their faith with others. They wanted to show their friends that even when they had encountered loss, there was hope just around the corner. Infinite hope. This young couple later found out that the pastor stayed in the suburbs of Mumbai and went to meet him. They thanked him profusely for sharing a message that had changed their lives and their beliefs. My friends, there's no telling science does have answers. There's no denying it. But does it have all the answers? Absolutely not. As the old saying goes, reason begins where faith ends, and faith begins where reason ends. The young couple shifted to Mumbai a few months later and began studying the Bible regularly. In time, they accepted the Christian faith with open arms. So, do I have to be perfect to be a Christian? On the contrary, a Christian's greatest knowledge is knowing that he or she is a sinner and needs saving. As you reflect on the story of the young couple today, ask yourself, has there ever been a time when things looked so astonishingly depressing that you felt like giving up? Have you, as a reasonable, rational thinking human, felt that all your analysis was failing and faltering in an abysmal way? What was your thought when reason, science, and logic failed to give you the answers you were looking for? Did you give up on science and evolution? Or did you just say it was one of those things that don't have an adequate answer? To be honest, as a young person, I too have grappled with my own issues with faith, with unending explanations that science seeks to give. But what I have learned over time is that science is finite, but faith is infinite. Remember, I am speaking about faith and not a religion. Religion is only a validation of the beliefs and a name tag to the ideologies of many people. Faith transcends all this to tell you, to remind you, in fact, that when all is lost, there's still a reason to believe. God has given us so many thoughts and ideas that now we use that talent to question His wisdom and His existence, even. Even as I speak to you, I am aware how it feels when times may look increasingly dark and hanging on to your faith seems like the last option. So now, as you settle down with your cup of evening beverages, here is a question to reflect on. Have I really been alone in my struggles? Has there been no one to help and build me? Have I never met a human angel who unknowingly helped me? And once you've answered that, now ask yourself, how grateful am I when I wake up in the morning? What are my first thoughts? Do I thank God for the opportunities to see another day? Or do I lament on what I don't have, what I have been asking for, and so on? Learn to lean into God's glory, my friend. Learn to believe and not give up. Because, like I said, faith begins where reason ends. So, also remember, a Christian's life is one sermon. And if that isn't happening, then you are free to question it. If you like this episode and you think you learned something new, please write into me. I'm available on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'd love to hear from you. Whatever your feedback, your suggestions, they are absolutely priceless for me. Please make sure that you share it. And if you have a prayer request, feel free to send it in. Last but not least, if you have any question about the faith, if you would like me to cover something on these episodes, please let me know and I'd be more than happy to incorporate it very, very soon in one of our future episodes. Thank you for tuning in and I look forward to meeting you in the next episode. Have a lovely week.